Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. And today, in the bottom right-hand corner of Acropolis, it is going to be the Into the Void player, it is Ivan. And in the top left-hand corner, it is the Blue Zerg player, Firefly. Yeah, forgot to enable the music. I was playing StarCraft with music disabled, and forgot to change it back. So hey, this is Into the Void. It is my other, well, semi-weekly... Bi-weekly? Somebody told me the correct term in the comments a couple of weeks ago, but I've already forgotten. So anyway, it's my every other week examination of bronze, silver, and gold level replays that are sent to me at falconpaladin@gmail.com with the subject of Into the Void. Hey, Firefly is drone scouting. Now look, I understand pro players never do this because they believe it will harm their mid-game economy to the point that it's not worth doing. But you know what I say? Well, don't stop here though. Guy, dude, did he... Oh, he's back. Okay, he's back on this drone. So he knows it's not a Nexus first, which is good to know. He knows there's not a wall off here from the Protoss, which is also really good to know. If I see this from a Protoss, I will link flood them to death. I will bring a million lings in, I'll bring some banelings along, and they will die. Oh, that second gas is such a good tell, too. Seeing that second gas indicates we're probably going to see a Void Ray opening. It feels like a Void Ray opening. I don't know what else you'd want to do here with a double gas one base play like this from Ivan. But again, this is Into the Void, so weird stuff happens. Now, Firefly has a good idea of what's happening here. He went 18 on that gas, it looks like. So he probably went a 16, 18, 17 like we've talked about from time to time here on the channel as being really good. I also like the probe. Well, okay, the probe is going to die. All right. Oh, nice throwing it down instantly, though. That was a pretty good reaction from Ivan, or perhaps Ivan, depending on how that's pronounced. I don't actually know. So that's a bit of a delay there, kind of like that, slowing the Protoss player down. Cybernetics core really should be coming up now. Or this could honestly just be a one-gate expand wherein you do it wrong, because you want the Cyber core up before you get that second gas, because you're going to have too much gas. Okay, this is what it is. It's a one-gate expand that is just in the wrong order here. You want to go pylon, gateway, into an expansion, into cyber core, into second pylon, into second gas. Again, I'm not sure how much that matters at this level. You can probably win games at gold even if you do it wrong. But you just notice the reason you don't get the second gas before your expansion is because you're sitting here on 300 gas and nothing to spend it on. Your cyber core isn't even done. That is so much gas that would be better spent with minerals. Better spent by having an early expansion here. Both players a little belatedly saying good luck, have fun here, which I really enjoy. And a third base coming up from Firefly. So, Firefly also taking a second extractor for reasons unknown. I feel like so far he's doing a pretty good standard macro opening. He's got a third base coming up in around 3 minutes, which is exactly what you want to be doing. It is kind of up to you whether you want to get your two queens out first or get them started and speed first. And then go for your expansion, or go for the expansion and then get your queens and your speed. Generally, I recommend playing it safer. There's really no reason to go for a greedy third base in most situations. I guess if you drone scouted and saw there really wasn't much of a reason to worry about proxies, then the third base earlier might have been a better idea from Firefly. Kind of help you catch up, right? So 3 zealots are out. And again, there's no wall. Like, if you showed up with about 20 to 30 lings, you just win this game. There's really nothing to stop the Protoss player from dying here. But Firefly wants to play a nice macro-style game. Not doing a fantastic job with the injects, as, well, this one has, well, recently was injected, but not getting re-injected. And then the main base also not getting injected here. We're sitting at about 50 energy. I love the Baneling Nest, though. You do want a Baneling Nest in this situation. It's a bit of a blind Baneling Nest. Like, you want Baneling Nest if your opponent's going for a lot of Adepts or a lot of Zealots early. If they're doing that, it's some kind of like a 2-base charge lot all-in with Warp Prism support. Having Banelings is pretty good. Having Roaches is better, but Banelings are not bad. And then if it's like a 2-base Depth Shade all-in kind of a thing with Resonating Glaives, Banelings are worth their weight in gold there. But so far, if Ivan is really just going for a bunch of Zealots, and I don't see a Twilight Council either. So a bunch of Zealots and a Robotics Facility, which again, the Robo Facility makes sense for the Warp Prism, but we're just missing the one piece here. And also, there's too much gas being taken, right? If you're going for the charge lot all-in, what you're going to see from your Protoss opponent is these 2 gases aren't being taken because you don't need it. You're just getting charge, and then the Warp Prism and the Zealots are minerals. So Yeah. Ooh, third base. That is a pretty greedy third base out of Ivan here. I like it, though. I like it at this level. Anyway, Firefly is making a handful of Lings and Banelings. Defensively, it would seem. Because if this was offensive, you'd make the Banelings across the map, because Banelings are really slow until they have speed. And even then, they're not as fast as Speedlings are. So generally, if you want to be aggressive with these, run your Speedlings up here, make some Banelings, and then go for it. Which would honestly be pretty amazing right here. Really, I mean, this army of like 5 Banelings and a handful of Lings, I think they could beat this, depending on how clumped up these Zealots are when they get hit. But either way, another player particularly doing super great on the economy side of things. Firefly is floating about 800 minerals. Ivan has about 800 gas. So again, we've had this problem with Ivan for a while now, where he insists on having a ton of gas, but not really spending anything super gas heavy. He's making an Immortal. He's getting +1 attack, and he's making a Stalker, but he needs more. Needs more gateways. We're looking at 2 gateways on now soon to be 3 bases. If you have a hard time spending your money, if you're checking, if you're Zerg, make a macro hatch. It's not going to hurt anything, or expand again. And if you're Protoss, definitely throw up like 3 or 4 more gateways here. You can support, okay, Robotic Space, fine. Twilight Council, all right. I like the teching here too, but definitely at least throw up 2 more gateways. You could support 7 gateways on 2 bases, all right? So 7 to 10 here on 3 bases is where you want to be. If you're going gateway heavy, which it kind of seems like you are, making another robotics facility would be good if you're making Immortals. And then maybe a Stargate or something. So one pro tip here for Ivan is if you don't harass a Zerg player, you're never going to get out of where you are. If you're silver or bronze or gold, like you're never getting promoted if you refuse to harass a Zerg. Eventually you'll run up to a point on the ladder where the Zerg players will happily take 8 bases without you bothering them at all, and then just show up and murder you every single time. You have to harass. Make an Oracle, send it across, try to kill some drones. You'll have pretty good success at your level if you can just micro a little bit, which might be asking too much, but hey, playing is how you get better. I mean, even just sending these Zealots across would have done better than having them play defense here. 4th base coming up from Firefly, a little bit late. 7 minutes feels a little bit late here. 49 to 55 workers. Ivan at least has been doing a pretty fantastic job on pro count. Like, this is fully saturated. Main base, natural base, 3rd base is almost there. So fantastic plays here from Ivan economically. Still not spending his money very well because he doesn't have the gateways or the robotics facilities to really do it. Getting charge and blink. Blink is queued up. Generally, I'm not a huge fan of queuing stuff up, but if there are just 2 upgrades, fine. Queue one of them up. Probably not going to be the reason that you lose a game at this level. 4th base is going to pop, and if Firefly wants to saturate that, I'd love it. Now, at this point, go for that hive, man. Get an infestation pit, throw up a hive. I hope your upgrades are going. Are they going? No. So you've got 2 evolution chambers, which is great, but you're not actually getting up any upgrades at all. I mean, other than bending speed and roach speed, which is good. I'm not telling you not to get those upgrades, but also be getting these ones. Why is he so gas-starved? Oh, he only has 2 extractors. That would be it. Around 40 to 45 workers. You can check that by hovering in the top right above your worker count or your supply count. It'll show you how many workers you have. Take your 2nd and 3rd extractors, saturate this one. And then honestly, by this stage, you're saturating every base that you take. Gas is your best friend here as a Zerg player. Now, pretty slow for the first 8 minutes, but that is what Into the Void can be. The inject's still not super great, but not getting worse anyway. I was expecting this queen to maybe have 100 or 150 energy, but she doesn't, which means she's been injecting sometimes, which I will take. Just remember to inject. All right, taking those 2 extractors, I'm a huge fan of. Protoss is still just largely going gateway units, except for the 3 Immortals and the Colossus. Now, Colossus, you're going to be really good here against this Roach Ravager Ling Baneling thing. Now, Firefly, here's how you get better at this. Do not make this kind of an army unless you are defending an imminent attack or you are going to attack. Don't do it. Use the larvae and the resources on getting up to like 80 or 90 workers on these 4 bases. Get all the gas income you have. Then scout around, see what the Protoss is up to, and then just make exactly what will kill him. This is what you can do against a Protoss who's not bothering to really harass you at all. Is at this point, honestly, just a giant Ling Baneling army would wreck this. Like, really hard. As long as your Banelings aren't exploding directly on the Immortals, you're going to be just fine. Now, when the Colossus pops out, that's a little bit trickier. You want some Corruptors for the Colossus, or some Vipers to abduct them, but expecting spellcasting at this level is, maybe a little bit too much. Great scout, though. I'm loving that you got Overlord speed. And he does. He scouts in, sees what's up, sees a ton of Zealots, a Colossus, an Immortal, and some Stalkers here. And yeah, you just make 5 or 6 Corruptors. You wipe out the Colossus, and the rest of the army can be handled by Lings, Banes, Roaches, Ravagers. Pretty much just have a maxed out army of something like that. Make sure the Banelings are exploding on the Zealots as much as you can, and you're going to have a good time. On the other side, this is fine, but I mean, I guess this is fine. Firefly is not really responding to this in a way you need to do anything else. So, I mean, Ivan, moving out here would not be too bad for you. 148 supply. 87 to 45 army supply right now. Ivan has a massive advantage. Corruptor on the way. All right, 15 Overlords. When you already have 112 supply, that's oversupplying. But, I mean, you're sitting on 4,000 minerals, so, all right, I guess we're okay. Again, 64 workers and 4,000 minerals is not going to work for you, buddy. Saturate this 4th base. Love that you're taking a 5th base. That's fantastic. Love you have your extractors at your 3rd, too. Late is better than never. But seriously, saturate this. Get all the gas in the entire universe. You should have a maxed out army by this point. Even at your lower levels, if you're being left alone and you're not maxed out around 11 minutes, you need to work on always making drones, expanding faster, and injecting crisper so you have a lot of larvae instead of 6 at this stage of the game. I guess more just did pop, so we're at 10. 10's all right. Now, the Lings you're making are rendered utterly irrelevant by the presence of these 2 Colossus. So if you can make sure the Colossus are dead, then sure, go in with those Lings. But man, if these guys show up and you try to go in there with Zerglings, they will get roasted and toasted forever. Ivan throwing up a 4th base. Overseer's cruising in. I love that Firefly keeps doing stuff to scout. I really do. Neural Parasite! Okay, Firefly has some grand ideas. He has no infestors, but he is getting Neural Parasite. And he does have that hive we talked about earlier. See this red? Means you could take 8 of these drones, do basic math, take 8 of them, throw them down to this base, or throw them down to this base. You actually do need to rally hatcheries to mineral patches when you make them. It's something I've forgotten in the past too, but definitely make sure that happens. This is the turtliest and like non-aggressive Protoss I have ever seen possibly on my channel. I can't believe this. We're 12 minutes in, and he's been like, I'm not moving across the map at all. Look at him. Look at how much he's scouted across the map. 0! He has no idea what the Zerg player is doing. None. This could be like 27 Broodlords. And Ivan would just be dead to 27 Broodlords. Another base coming up from Firefly. I like these players are expanding. Like, they've learned that lesson. Totally fine with you being on this number of hatcheries at 12 minutes, Firefly. Fantastic. You too, Ivan, honestly. You got there faster. He's got the 3 Stargates. I guess maybe if 27 Broodlords show up, you can make some Void Rays and kill them, but... yeah. So Firefly's army has come up, but it's largely Zerglings and a handful of Corruptors. I'm really interested to see if this is just Ivan Ruffle stomping Firefly into the ground here. Because again, if the Colossus live, all these Lings and Banelings die. This isn't enough Roach Ravager to do anything at all. And some Void Rays are coming in. Alright, called that. Tell me we have Extended Thermal Lance. We don't. Okay, Ivan, this is for you in particular. I don't know which one of you is watching this. I don't know which one of you sent this in, but... Okay, Robotics Bay right here. It has an upgrade called Extended Thermal Lance. If you're making more than one Immortal or more than one Colossus, Colossus benefit immensely from the Extended Thermal Lance upgrade, giving them range. Okay, range upgrades and speed upgrades are ones you always want to get if you're making any number of a unit that will benefit from it. Some DTs are moving out, but again, we've got Overseers. Or we did have Overseers. Did they all perhaps die? No, we've got them. There's one in this army? There is? Where is it? I guess we'll find out. Is there detection here? Not over here. Another thing you want to get in the habit of is throwing up a Spore Crawler at every one of your bases, because this will happen. La 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 la. Response not great. He just ran some Zerglings down and, to his credit, ran back home because he recognized that the army was really big and scary. Where the heck is that Overseer? Remember when I was like, there's an Overseer over here? I clicked on it. It's not here. Well, a bunch of them are... I don't know what happens here. The problem with the Banelings for you Dark Templar is that... Oh, here we go. Is that when you kill them, they'll explode on you, causing you much damage because they do bonus damage versus light. And you are light. All right, so, replacing this base as soon as possible is another thing you want to work on, Firefly. 63 workers is not enough for you to be a big old macro scary style Zerg. You want to be on at least 70. You can be on 80. You can be on 90. Raynor does it. 90's fine. Also, these workers need to get to work somewhere. Firefly not paying attention to these drones basically means that instead of having 65 workers, he has something like 50 workers, which, again, at 15 minutes on this number of bases is not good. Look at how unsaturated these bases are today. He's got them, but he's not using them. He's not using his God-given hatcheries at all. I kind of feel like this is just Ivan going for a big Zealot, Colossus, Immortal, Void Ray push and winning the game. Because Void Rays with extended, or Void Rays with, God dang it, with their ability here, why am I spacing what it's called? I've only said it a million times. I've said extended thermal lance too many times is the problem. Anyway, it's the upgrade wherein goes ahead and increases the damage versus armored by a hajillion. Okay, it's like 6. Okay, these lings are dead. Firefly's maxed out at least. Maybe he realizes these lings and banelings are useless and he's throwing them away for additional supply. Maybe. What's he replacing that supply with? Okay, he's making 1 million more corruptors. Now, keep this in mind. Corruptors are really good against stuff like Colossus and Tempests and Carriers and Oracles and Phoenix. Not good against Void Rays and not good against ground stuff, ground units, right? They can kill buildings with Caustic Spray, great. But what they cannot do is actually kill things like Stalkers and Immortals and Zealots. You can't just rely entirely on your Corruptors here. He's throwing away these roaches to create more supply too, I have to imagine. Kind of like it, honestly. Oh, and a recall. Whoa! Nice recall from Ivan. Some Zealots are going to die, but other than that... Oh, did he get a Colossus? He focused down a Colossus there. Not bad. Not too shabby at all. And 6 Broodlords in productions. Firefly still has 170 supply. So the Broodlords are going to be a bit of a game changer here. Again, the Void Rays are as good against the Corruptors as they are against Broodlords. Probably better because Broodlords can't shoot up or defend themselves in any sense. Firefly is at 68 workers. Has he put... No, these are killing me, Firefly. Firefly, there's a button over here on the left side that shows idle workers, and you click that one button and it selects all your workers for doing nothing. And then you throw them at this base and go, harvest! Get me gas! See, extractors exist, gas is not being gotten here. Firefly, that's why you only have 600 gas in the bank. You should have a much larger gas bank than this. But you don't. So Ivan at 71 workers, pretty optimal for Protoss, honestly. I don't think you need much more than that. Upgrades would be good. I like that we have +2 attack and +1 armor, but more armor is good. More shield would be fantastic here too. Just 1s and 1s across the board. +2 ground carapace is complete. But no air attack or air armor done for Firefly. So, again, if you have all these resources, I've been sitting at 13,000, 5,000. Get all the upgrades known to man. Upgrade, 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 especially if you're just sitting here, right? If you're defending and you're attacking, like, okay, you don't have the spare APM to check for upgrades, but man, if you're sitting here... Absolutely go for upgrades, especially in games like this one. I've been taking a base in the top right. Overseers are present, and the Broodlords are going to try to save the hatch. They should be able to. And they do. Alright, so 2 DTs not enough to finish that off, but the presence of Broodlords has been revealed. I don't think Ivan knew they were Broodlords until now, because again, he's still... has only really snuck around this area of the Zerg side of the map. Ivan is so desperate for new bases, he's taking this one. I don't think... This is not usually a base that's taken on this map. Especially this one down here, too. Kind of the same story. It's a weird base. A little bit too close to the Zerg for most Protoss players' comfort. Creep spread could be better here, but, you know, Firefly is working on it. He's at least connected all of his bases with creep, which is kind of your baseline here if you're a Zerg player. Hey, look! Extend Thermal Lance! Extended Thermal Lance on the way. Ivan's like, well, I lost one of my Colossus. But the remaining Colossus could really use Extended Thermal Lance, so I'm going to get it. I'm not making any more of those, in case you're wondering. Infestors on the way. Now, Infestors can be a huge game changer in this scenario. Well, what do you want to do here? Want to Neural Parasite the Void Rays? Maybe. Neural Parasite the Colossus. Kind of hard to do. It's usually back behind the rest of the army. Fungling the Phoenix can be pretty nice. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the choices are for Ivan. But yeah, this has been largely a hangout fest from these players. Nobody is sending little small attacks unless you count Firefly's attempts to get rid of supply, which is more of a suicide run than anything else. So Firefly is maxed out. He's got 12 Broodlords, 16 Corruptors, 7 Infestors. It's not a bad compositional choice here versus the Protoss. It's really not. And I guess the Void Rays are a problem. Parasitic Bomb would be nice against them. Some Vipers would not be too bad. Creep spreading pretty well. Still sitting at about 68 workers here, Firefly. And these guys are still not working. Nor are these guys now. Oh, Firefly. If you lose this game, I'm going to blame it entirely on your inability to take your idle drones and put them to work, guy. I'm just saying. Alright, so the Voiders are heading out on a mission all on their own. Burrow coming in. He's like, you know what would be really nice if I could burrow these workers so they wouldn't die? I guess I'll start burrow now. But in the meantime, everybody's dead. Prismatic Alignment. Oh, Brain. Help me out sometimes, Brain. Prismatic Alignment is great against things that are armored, like buildings and roaches and corruptors and broodlords. Not good against drones necessarily. Oh boy, here we go. What? But they already used their Prismatic Alignment a second ago. Oh no. This fight for the Corruptors might be a little bit better. A little bit better in the Corruptors' favor than it normally would be. If the Prismatic Alignment was still available, this would be a super dead Zerg. But as it stands, it's just a largely dead Zerg. Yeah, see, this is what Corruptors do against Void Rays. They don't trade very well. 13 more Corruptors on the way. We're looking at air weapons. Level 1 is done. That's cool. +2 shield, too, which does benefit these air units. As far as air upgrades, I don't see any at all here. Oh, +1 flyer and +1 armor's on the way. Fireflies, you know what? My army is largely air. Having air upgrades would not be too bad. Did he figure it out? He figured it out! He figured it out! The drones are moving out to actually do stuff. Now do these guys.
Assimilation successful.
Which he just neural parasited these Void Rays to kill each other. Oh no, this one came out! This one came out of being neural parasited. Infested Terrans, go!
Assimilation successful.
Do infested Terrans! Oh, you're gonna chain fungal it to death? I don't know about this plan. He's just like, I'm out. Bringing these queens over. Who wants to do that? Ah! Burrow. So this Void Ray's got 3 kills. Pretty pleased with himself. If I had to classify him in one way or another, this game is crazy. And by crazy, I mean it's so passive. 1 base has died so far today. Okay, 2 bases have died so far today. In 22 minutes. Whoa, alright. Goodbye, final Void Ray. We knew thee well. And you're done. Honestly, in that situation, Infested Terrans and Hydras are a much better answer. Also, Mutalisks trade better than Corruptors do. You don't really want to go for Mutalisks to deal with Void Rays, but like, if that's all you have, like as a desperate situation, go for it, I guess. Anyway, Fleet Beacon coming up. The first Nexus of the day is going to go down. The Broodlings are benefiting from their +1 attack and +2 Carapace. And holy Phoenix, Batman. Alright, so Phoenix trade horribly against Corruptors. Like, really, really bad. Alright, this is our engagement. Oh no, there's more Void Rays! Get out of there, Corruptors! Oh, the Stalkers are really good here, too! Corruptors are fighting. They have good numbers here. The Phoenix count is surprisingly high enough that it does pretty good against these Corruptors. Trying to handle the ground army with the Broodlord, trying to blink underneath them. Getting chomped to pieces by Broodlings, though, are all of these Stalkers. The Colossus needs to die. It's doing a pretty decent job on these Broodlings when it comes right down to it. Oh, there's a DT in the mix. This one, Void Ray, is pretty much unopposed right now. 18 Corruptors are in production, but is it enough to actually save these Broodlords or not? The ground army is toast. Let's just make that clear. But oh, the air army. These Phoenix kind of saving the day here. Honestly, like I said, I haven't had a pretty good composition. These queens are gonna die. 18 Hydras in production. Okay. All right, so Hydra Corruptor here, gonna do all right. Bringing some detection would be nice. Why are you rallied over? Where are you going? Come back! Come back and you guys assist. The Hydra's coming in. No. Tell me they have range upgrades and stuff. They don't have range upgrades. Oh, look at him using Neural Parasite on an individual Phoenix. That's cool, I guess. so crazy. Ivan is not replacing his army, which seems like a mistake to me. He's getting +3 attack, which is really nice, but he's sitting on 23,000 minerals and 7,000 gas and making absolutely nothing at the moment. Infestors, don't go in first! Infestors, what are you doing? Okay, well, the infestors are here. Where's your detection? We have some of those overseers, right? Those exist? Do they in fact exist? I don't see any detection at all. These DTs are having the fieldiest day of all field days. 16 kills, 23 kills, 22 kills. Sure, a bunch of those are broodlings. I get it. Is Ivan going to win this with a handful of stalkers? Firefly can't do anything but make zerglings right now, which he honestly should be doing. Oh, look, he figured out he's got idle drones all over the place. Maybe we'll get those out of here. Honestly, panic zerglings would do just fine here, my guy. Okay, how much larva do you have? 29. Okay, but for real, panic zerglings would be so good. Hey, the overseers decided to show up. They're like, hey, we heard there are some DTs around. There's nothing to kill the DTs, but your detection is greatly appreciated, guys. This game. Firefly, make paniclings. Why are there probes attacking? Ivan, what are you doing? I'm actually... How did this Nexus die? I'm realizing this now. He's just attacking with probes. He's making some Tempests, which... Honestly, a really bad choice against someone who has Corruptors and nothing else. Carriers, also a pretty bad choice against somebody who has Corruptors and nothing else. Dude, 48 lings. Okay. Firefly realized 48 lings. He's got adrenal glands. He's got +1 attack. He's got +2 armor. These aren't the scariest cracklings of all time, but they are pretty good cracklings. Okay, this is turning into a fairly intense situation. Lings, get them! Yeah, Lings are going to win this fight with upgrades. Any kind of upgrades on the Lings are going to win this handily. Especially with adrenal glands, though. Hey, look! The Dark Templar are here, but there's detection against them. Man, these DTs. 22 kills on that one. 30 kills on that one. Wow. Alright, well, probes are dying by the dozens here for Ivan. He is down to 34. He's getting DT Blink. At a time like this, DT Blink, where you don't have any DTs, seems a bit of a wrong decision if I had to give that something of a label, eh? Alright, so that was effectively the last remaining source of income for Ivan. Well, I guess except for these 4 mineral patches. Army supply 74 to 64. Got some Void Rays in the mix. Loving the Void Rays. They've been doing alright for Ivan thus far today. Stalker count pretty healthy. Spending his bank now, actually making stuff, replacing his fleet beacon because he wants to make more carriers. And Firefly needs to move. Firefly's income is actually not bad. He's looking at effectively 3 mining bases right now. A lot of minerals. He's gas starved because he's not mining gas. I know. Weird, right? Oh my gosh, the army's not moving to protect this at all. The army is defending their stargates, which not really under danger. Priority questions right now. More DTs moving out. And again, the fact that there are DTs has not told Firefly he needs to make any kind of detection at all. There are no spores. There's nothing. There's no overseers over here. This source of income we talked about earlier is going to be dead. The overseers are like, where do we go? Well, here's a pro tip. If you go down this way, there's nothing to actually kill these DTs. Or did they just get F2'd? I think those DTs just got F2'd. Oh, this carrier count, this stalker count. Kind of like what we're seeing from Ivan right now, guys. The Corruptors are trying to go after the Nexus, but what they need to be doing is taking down... Oh, gosh, it doesn't matter. The Voiders are here. The Stalkers are here. This is an insane situation right now. The Corruptors are not focusing down anything at the moment. The Stalkers are kind of getting chomped down, but now the Stalkers blinking under the Brood Lords. Gonna win that battle, and holy crap, Ivan holds on. With his 12 probes, he holds on. 24 lings in production. You know what's not good against carriers? Zerglings. As it turns out, Ivan has all of the money in the world, refuses to replant a Nexus. Build a Nexus here. Build one here, build one here, build one here. Maybe you can't because there's creep. I don't know. Build Nexuses everywhere you can. Replace your probe count. This long distance mining is not going to do super well for you over time. Your income is 111. minerals per minute compared to the 1,500 that Firefly is rolling with at the moment. Is he getting his gas now? That's saturated. It's mostly saturated. And this is saturated too. Hey, Firefly's gas is back, but he's still making paniclings. I really could see this going either way at this point, you guys. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, whoa, this sure feels like Ivan could win if he just goes aggressive here, because really there's nothing but paniclings and like a handful of corruptors and some banelings, because sure, banelings against these carriers and void rays are what you need. What you need are honestly hydras. I gotta say, just a buttload of hydralisks. All right, one source of income out. It is getting mined out at the moment, so there are worse sources of income for Firefly to lose here. Ooh, a mothership too. That'd be pretty fantastic. Oh, there's DTs now. Suddenly, if Ivan is at 132 supply over 64. I guess not suddenly, because again, his bank is insane. And that kind of helps in situations like this to have an insane bank. Base ray! Is he actually going to prevent these voiders from coming in? No, not really. I don't think so anyway. Probe count is down to 1 for Ivan. Holy crap, this is amazing. This is really good stuff right now. Is he coming back to deal with this? Ivan, don't do that. Don't come back to deal with this. Oh, the Dark Shrine dead would be really nice. Is this pylon going to die? No. It's close, though. It's close to dead. But actually, that just bought Firefly a ton of time. The army was here. They were marching on your front door, and you had like 10 corruptors and 6 zerglings to stop it. Not enough. I mean, not that you're really doing anything with that time you were given, other than for some reason going for upgrades. Which, again, you should have those already. And 2, not going to help you all that much. Firefly handles it. I think Ivan just has this, based on the fact that Firefly hasn't really made anything substantial. Like, enough corruptors to swing in and pick off the carriers, and then just hydra the rest of it down. Maybe some banelings for the DTs. It's an interesting, weird composition you have to go for, but Firefly's answer to this has been some lings and banelings and a bunch of corruptors, which, again, we've seen the Void Rays handle these corruptors before a bunch of times. Ground army gets wiped out. Prismatic alignment comes up. The corruptors are gone. See the corruptors gone? Yep, that's what happens, and that's your good game right there. That is a 10 army supply for Firefly. Ivan has got this thing won without question. Firefly, there you go. Epic game, says Firefly. It's true. That was pretty epic. Ivan throws out the GG, everybody's friends, and Ivan is your winner in 32 minutes and 57 seconds. What a match. I don't even, my goodness to gracious, what a ridiculously fun into the void there. I mean, I don't know. Like, the first, 20 minutes were pretty slow. But then, boy howdy, did it get interesting from there. Ivan won with a total of 0 workers. And no mining bases, right? No nexuses in a position to really mine from anything. Firefly ends the game with about 5,000 minerals and 200 gas. Which, yeah, end of the day, Infested Terrans getting tossed down would have been great against these Void Rays. And these Interceptors to some extent, too. Enough Corruptors to finish off the carriers would have been nice. Hydras for the rest of it. Maybe some Banelings for the DTs. That was the answer. That was your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, end of the day. Firefly lost 52,000 resources to 29,000 for Ivan. A lot of dead stuff here today. Lot of dead stuff. How many things for the Protoss? Honestly, did pretty well keeping his stuff alive. Both Colossus died, which was a problem. 19 Stalkers, 13 Void Rays, 11 Phoenix, 4 Nexuses. There's a lot of Nexuses to lose, but killing 8 hatcheries makes up for that quite nicely. 17 Broodlords down is so much gas. 68 Corruptors, largely to those Void Rays. 9 Infestors, which some neural parasites went down, which was nice, but not really in ideal situations. 63 drones down and 76 probes. So GG there for Ivan getting the win And that's going to be it from me today. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and an Into the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.
And so you must run, and it's taken your heart and broken your soul. You cannot go back until you're made whole. And you're running into the void. You go searching into the void to find a place you can live. You can love. Is it just an illusion? When push comes to shove, there's a light upon you, and you follow it on. Looking for a reason and a way to atone. All around you, the planets and stars. You're lost in a maelstrom of a great new unknown. And you're running into the void. You go searching into the void to find a place you can live, a place you can love. Is it just an illusion? When push comes to shove, and you're running into the void. You go searching into the void. And you're running into the void.